Right, hopefully this is going to work. It was a bit of an epic actually getting this up and going. Just because I had to do a bit of rejigging of my machine and everything earlier this week. I was having some problems with peripherals. It turns out, I think, where is it? This thing here. I had an external drive that I was using as my time machine drive. Seems to have started playing up. I need to have a proper look at it. But I got a Mac Mini down there in front of me, and I needed to reboot it because I'd lost my microphone while having a chat with, or trying to have a chat with someone earlier this week, and rebooted the machine, and it was taking ages and ages and ages to start up. Eventually started up after a couple of attempts to boot and things. I just noticed I nicked myself shaving earlier. I suspected that maybe it was Microsoft Teams, and I completely eradicated my Microsoft Teams because that was the last thing I'd installed before having this problem. No, it wasn't that and all that kind of stuff. So eventually I took everything off the machine, unplugged everything apart from my screens and, as it would have it, my time machine drive, because why would I remove that? Tried booting up, still same problem. Removed the drive and it booted perfectly. Long story short, had to put everything back in. I don't think everything's gone quite back in the slot it was in or whatever. And so I started up OBS, and OBS went, "You ain't got a webcam, you ain't got a camera at all," which was awkward because it's hard to do this bit without this bit here without the camera. So even once I got the camera, I could see that the camera was working. OBS wasn't convinced there was a camera there, so I had to remove the camera feed from OBS and set it up again and blah 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 and everything. Anyway, all that aside. What I wanted to have a quick muck about with is I want to see if I can do something with the new inline mode that Textual recently added. If I go in, what am I thinking? There we go, right. My thinking is this. I would like... So this is Timboard. I'm going to see if I can do something with Timboard. So I can add a new bookmark. And you can see actually that's the URL for the stream because it was in my clipboard. I can add a new bookmark and it will sync it up to the Pinboard server and all that kind of stuff. So I'm wondering if maybe I could do a version of this that just runs inline. I don't know how well this is going to go. I don't even know if it's going to work. It may show some interesting issues, maybe with the inline mode or my understanding of it or something like that. But my thinking is if I can maybe get if I can get all of these up and running in some way, shape or form in an inline mode, that might be cool, might be nice. How useful it is, I don't know, but we'll see. I haven't really thought about how I'm going to go about it yet. So, first things first. Let's call it. Oh. How many O's in bookmark? Right, so we got a branch. I'll work on a branch which is add bookmark inline. So I suppose the obvious thing to try and do is, let me think. So I have this bookmark input thing. Haven't really thought this one through. The problem is at the moment the bookmark input screen is a modal screen which returns data back from it to the main screen. So yeah, the add down here push the screen, does a callback. So I suppose the question is will inline allow you to get away with a screen pushed over a screen or things like that? Haven't tried it. I suppose the first thing to do is let's just see what happens. This might be the end of everything because it might turn out that it's just not going to work great. That's the app. I don't want the app. I want that. Let's just try running inline first and see what happens. Well, I mean, it's there. It's obviously a bit small, but it's there, which is probably where the styling comes in, isn't it? So, would I want to do that on my main screen? I'm actually going to have to check the docs, aren't I? So let's have a look. I know we have a new how-to, which is styling inline apps. So that's on the screen. I suppose the question is that on the default screen or is that on any screen? So let's say I'm just going to set a very particular height. Oh. Let's try that. Not bad, not bad, not bad. I'm going to inline app working. It's not great, but it works. So that's feasible. That's feasible. That is feasible. The thing is let's keep sort of prototyping this for a moment. So let's just satisfy ourselves that, yep, it all works fine. We get the right height and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything that actually tells me if I am running inline? That's an interesting question. Is there like an inline property? Ooh. It's just, it's back where I was. Let's have a look. Might have to dive in and look at the source. I don't know if I've updated the textual source code recently. Let me just check. Just on an try again on another screen. Let me just make sure my 78 commits behind. I guess I haven't. Oh, there we go. Wanted that. Stuff to do with inline there. App is inline. Is inline looks promising, doesn't it? Is inline looks very promising. Is the app running in inline mode? It's exactly what we wanted. So this isn't how I'll end up doing it, but I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to say once I've finished here, I'm going to say if, it's the app, isn't it? Nice. Oh, hang on. I know what I should do. What I should just do is do this. Let's just go into add mode. Ooh. Not quite what I wanted, but kinda. The problem is, the way the app works at the moment, is it's intimately tied in with the main screen. The act of posting the result back to the server and all that kind of stuff and everything, which isn't great. But this kind of works. I don't know that this is actually a great thing to add anyway. But I thought I'd give it a go. I thought I'd see how it would work. Maybe what I should do. Is actually style this modal screen when we're in inline mode so that it isn't pushed in from the sides and all that kind of stuff, and have it just be as big as it wants to be, which is going to hide the main app in the background, and then it'll all just disappear, and I'll exit back out again if I'm in inline mode. Bit of a hack, but kind of works. This is definitely one of those things of if I'd wanted to do this originally, I wouldn't have started where I am, kind of thing. I'm starting from the wrong place. Point being, inline apps were a thing. If inline apps had been a thing when I started writing this, I probably would have approached things ever so differently. Let's have a think. So, we're just going to go straight into inline mode. Going to do all the usual, add mode if the app is inline. That makes sense. Right. So we go to the bookmark input. So really, I want to kind of get rid of that 60%. I wonder if this will override it. I'm going to go with what did I want it to be? It's a VW, isn't it? Is it VW? Or is it V? No, I can't remember. I never use these units. Just go with 100% for a moment. Okay, that works. That works. That's kind of what I want. It's kind of what I want. Not a great experience, but kind of what I want. So we're going to actually, I think, yeah, something like that. It's not a great experience because, of course, you've got this thing of essentially the actual application is showing first, then it's going into this dialogue. But again, I just want to see if this actually works as a proof of concept, because if it does, and it seems like it's going to, ignore it not disappearing. You know, my thinking is like, you know, come in, copy a URL, come over here, and the URL's in the clipboard, bang, I'm already in there, and then I can just kind of like type in all the details and then carry on. So that's actually a pretty good use of inline. That's not a great experience though, is it? The way it redraws the background. I mean, obviously what I'd need to do is actually style this in a more compact way. For example, I probably want to try and make, yeah, I maybe stick these more on the end here. Actually, maybe put the, I was going to say maybe the tags and the titles could go side by side and stuff like that. It could be a better use of space. I could compress the space vertically. But that potentially needs a slightly different layout. And it could be that actually it works out that it makes sense to do this as a different dialogue altogether. But I'm actually, yeah, I'm pleased with how it works out already. So that's okay. So we're going to say border none. Is there anything else I want there? I mean, I could shave some height off the description, obviously, that kind of stuff. I also realised looking at the CSS for my main screen, I could do some work there on tidying up. I'm off on a tangent now, but I just realised I still haven't really done anything with nested CSS on my main screen. Again, Tim Board predates nested CSS-ish. I think I started writing it around the time it turned up, and there was a few cases of how I was doing styling that wouldn't work with inline CSS at the time, because inline CSS still had some shortcomings. Nested CSS, not inline. I keep saying inline, I mean nested. Yeah, nested CSS had some issues when it came to certain things. So I stayed away from it for a couple of dialogues and stuff. Hey David, how's it going? Well, I'm not so much hacking on Textual, as I'm hacking on one of my own apps that happens to be using Textual. Hope you're doing well. Anyway, Friday's always a good thing, right? What am I doing? I think I'll keep ploughing ahead with this just as a slightly proof of concept thing. So what I want to do is on the callback, it's literally going to be that, I think. Is it exit? I can never remember. That is line. Is in line. Oh my god, I can type. Red squigglies everywhere. So that should pop up if I hit escape. We should exit. If I to save that, that should. Ooh, where did that come from? Where did that come from? That looks like a wee bug somewhere, doesn't it? Perplexed face. We'll worry about that later. Cool. That roughly works. That's kind of roughly working. So that actually came together a bit quicker than I was expecting. The problem is, of course, that you got the app, the main application screen showing in the background, but it kind of needs to be there because it handles loading all the bookmarks. So the actual startup of Timboard, it looks locally for any locally cached bookmarks. It then calls out to the Pinboard server and goes, "This is the latest update that I have. Do you have anything newer?" And the Pinboard server will go, "Well, this is the latest thing I have," and then I can decide if I need to pull everything down or not. So kind of need all of that baggage behind it. Ish. But for a quick add, it's not so necessary. So I think actually for a quick, for a quick add, it makes more sense to actually bypass this. To bypass all of that. So I think it probably makes sense that I do a very specific screen for adding stuff. I can still use that screen actually for adding. So there's all kinds of things like, you get a notification to say save the bookmark and all that kind of stuff, and that's not needed. There's also, all this stuff of doing notifications if there's an error, saving the bookmark up to the server and all that kind of stuff. And that's, you're not going to get, I haven't even tried what happens with a notification with inline. Do notifications even work? Should maybe try that. Screw it, let's try that. Sound like use a button. No, I don't even need a button actually. Don't need that. Don't need you. I'm just going to do. I can spell. Shut up. Oh. Have I got a slightly out-of-date textual in my sandbox? Nobody likes out-of-date textuals in their sandboxes. Spotify. Okay. Bigger screen. Oh, they do. Okay, notifications do work. I don't know if I'm surprised or not. What I do know is command palette doesn't work. That causes all kinds of chaos. Command palette's pulled up now, and it's not working great. I'm actually surprised that I don't know. Am I surprised? I kind of am, kind of aren't. Anyway, what was I doing? So, do I stick with this, or do I maybe start a different screen? I'm going to need to spin up the API. Which isn't that hard, but then having the API implies needing the API token. That's something I can worry about later. That gets passed in anyway. Let's think. So, no, I wanted that. So I'm going to lose that for now. Thing is I need an app, and the app has a main. Right. Okay. Yeah, of course. It's just about the screen I push. It's about the screen I push. So what I would probably want to do is move creating the API instance up to the app. The input screen does. Does that know about the API? It does. Oh, passing the API. I do. Okay. I pass in the API here. So that's okay. That makes life easy. That makes life easy. So what I'd be doing is basically going. It'd be like. That kind of thing. Otherwise, we'd push the main screen. That would make sense, right? That would make sense. In that case, let's. So the main screen creates this API, but the API token's only ever used in one place. So rather than taking the API token, I can just take the API. Hey, that is probably not a terrible idea, actually. In that case, I'm going to go. Right, that should work. I've taken the inline off for the moment. So, does it work or does it die? Doesn't do anything because I'm in the wrong place. Right, still works, which is good. I'll delete you while we're here. Cool. Alright, so I've moved the creation of the API up where it's more useful. So I may actually stick with that anyway. Let's have that change there. That change there. Actually, no. Just actually make sure we just unstage that for a second. Let's make sure we always commit working code. So basically, I've moved it to that model there. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. There we go. That's more like it. So that's going to be more useful doing that up there. Right, next I can kill those changes for the moment. I'll come back to those because I want to get the thing of actually making the input screen popping up and doing its thing and potentially saving something new working. Although maybe I did want that. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. So, I am brew to pause for thought. Think, think, think. So, what I want to do is I want bookmark input up here at the app level. I realise as well that I actually... Oh, I broke something. What did I break? Screwed up. I wasn't paying attention. I screwed up the token bounce. That's okay. I just needed that. I just needed to create another instance of the API there. So what this code does is, because you need a token to talk to the Pinboard API, when it first comes in, I see if there is a token kicking around. If I do have, I go into the main app. Otherwise, what I do is I push the token input screen, which will then prompt the user for their token. That's going to call back to this token bounce. So it'll come back in here with the token if the provided one. Excuse me. saves the token, and then pushes the main screen. Originally it was with the token, but now it'll try again. Now it'll be pushing it with the API. I just realised as well there's a double bug here because I'm not passing in the initial filter anymore. I should probably dedupe that. It's like one line, but it's bugging me that it's duplicated. Anyway, let's fix that bug. Okay. And then I also want to make sure I do that. There we go. Right, that makes sense, I think. The initial filter thing was the thing that I actually added this morning. I was tinkering with some ideas this morning, and I added that but forgot to do that there, so that was a sort of a hangover bug. It is bothering me ever so slightly that that line there is a repeat of that line there. Ish. I could just call token bounce. I could just call it direct, but then I'd be writing the token that I've just read, and that's not great. I'm resisting the urge to, should we say, overdrive the code. Okay. So, what I want to do is say if is inline, do that, but then this will be bookmark input. It's going to need a callback at some point, but I just want to check that it's going to put the screen up. I am going to have to redo a little bit of the styling again. So, oh, didn't want to do that. Want to do that. Let's just go back into inline. Obviously, this business of inline equals true, that's going to be a thing that ultimately I'll do a command line option, which will be timbot add or something like that, which will put it into inline mode, which will cause it to kick off the input. Ooh, there was a brief flash of something there. What's that? What's that? Is that my underlying? No. What is that? Oh, it's the default screen. It's the default screen. That makes sense. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Because then we'll be doing Just do that for a second. Worry about what's it not like? What is it not like? What have I got wrong there? Is it just I think it could just be that. Yeah, it's just the callback wasn't correctly typed yet. Hey! There's a wee flash. There's a wee flash of something going on there, but I can't quite see what it is. I think it is just the main screen. Might just be the main screen. Well, it can't be the main screen, but what it could be is the default screen. Could be. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Wanted that. So it is just basically going to be adding the bookmark. I'll be calling this and then handling any exceptions, but handling them in a command line friendly way would be the way to do it. Still curious what that wee flash is. I'm not going to get bogged down in that. There's something to look at though. There's definitely something to look at. So let's basically snap that. It's going to be a cut down version of that. Basically, I've just realised I've kind of screwed myself over. It's not going to work. This is December me being a dick to now me. So the local copy of all the bookmarks I hold in a widget, and it's got the save method. So I need that widget to actually do the save. Damn it. Yeah, this ain't going to work. It's not a case of it's not going to work because of anything with Textual. It's more a case of it's not going to work because I took a design decision back in December. Yeah, I was working this while I was on holiday. I did this while I was on. Yeah, did this back in December, and decided that just like having the actual bookmarks widget handle everything. This is definitely a case of I should have really decoupled the data from the presentation kind of thing. That'll teach me for trying to be clever. Although, no. So it means I'm not going to be updating the local version. But the next time I run it up in full screen mode, it'll update from the server anyway, which might be kind of what I want.
Wikipedia, Windows Server Update Services, previously known as Software Update Services, is
Hey Google, cancel. Didn't need that help. So actually I just need to worry about, maybe this will work. Maybe this will work. But I just realised I don't have the API to hand though, because I pushed the API into the screen. Screen's calling back. I should really save a copy of the API, shouldn't I? Although at this point I will have, I'm just going to cheat for the moment. Just going to cheat for a second. Why don't you like that? Oh, there. What? Oh, right. Yes. That should do. Just do that. Oh, right, yeah. Don't need any of that, just need that. I obviously will do something with the error. But it's basically that. It's basically that. Which means right, I'm going to run inline. Let's grab ourselves a bookmark. Worked. Kind of worked. Refreshes. There it is. Ha! Okay, so that's the thing I was talking about was I'm bypassing saving a copy into the local cache just because I did everything off the widget, and that widget isn't about. But the next time the application gets run up in full screen mode, non-inline mode, then it'll refresh back from the server. Not ideal. This would really need to be tidied up. I really need to rip the storage of the bookmarks out of that widget, really. That would be the sensible thing to do. I'm not going to do it now, but just as a way of actually testing whether this works is not bad. Yeah. Let's bother that. So yeah, that's basically it. Basically it. So I do have this thing with exit states. So my where is it? There. I kind of look at the exit state and print various things on the way out. At the moment, it's to do with, there's an option in Tinboard for forgetting the token, which is essentially delete the file that contains the token and delete the local bookmark data as well. And just as a courtesy, having done that, I have to close the app because I can't watch the server anymore because there's no token. So what I do is I exit the application, but also as a courtesy print these messages to say what was happening. Also, if you go in and well, actually no, I forget the token. I misspoke. I print to say if the token, because you can specify the token in the environment. So if you actually say I want to forget everything, it exits, and if the token's in the environment, it says, well, you've asked me to forget the token. I've erased the local data, but the token's still in the environment. You may want to do something about that. But there's also the thing of, if you've run it up, you've been asked for the token and you've hit cancel, then it tells you this. So I should probably add another exit state, which is failed to save data, and then that's how I'll actually handle the error here. The error here? The error here. That should do the job. That should do the job. Yeah. Because I can't really print in there yet, but if I communicate the issue, that works. Yeah, that would work. Excuse me. But that's it. That's basically it. Short of short of styling as well. Actually, let's remember to come back to that. So the input. I just need to check something a second. What did I call it? Just need to look something up. I did add something to Emacs the other day to help me with editing some stuff, and then I've completely forgotten what I added. That was it. Right, so I think I want to say, what do I want to say? That's what I was doing before, isn't it? Is I'm go if I'm in line, want the width to be 100%, and fingers do, well, don't want that, I wanted that. What are you doing all the way over there? Windows have gone funny. There we go. Let's try that. Oh, I've got to set it back in line. Yes, that's roughly what I want. What happens if I come all the way down here? Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So it bumps it up and we're good. I think I kind of like this. I think I kind of like this. I think I will kind of go with this. So let's do a quick that's where I put it. Add that. I mean, I've got no way of really communicating what the error was. I mean, I do, because the error's there, but I'd need some way of passing the error back out, which means I'd need to change the type. Because at the moment it just returns an exit state. I need to make it so a tuple of exit state owns some description or something like that, which would work at some point. But for now, I'll just do that, and then it will be I can't type. Not the most helpful of error messages, but good enough, right? So couple of things there auto-completed in ways I didn't want them to. Did the my data really come from there? It should be able to come from there, and I think that will come from there as well. Okay, that's tidier. Um, want that, all of that. Oops. Fingers are getting lost on the keyboard. Right. Drink. So technically the only thing that's left in getting a rough prototype going is not hard coding that we're running inline. Oh, hey Yo-Yo, how's it going? Hope your Friday's going well. Need to remind myself how to do an optional command, as it were. Yeah, I don't use argument parser often enough that I can remember it all off the top of my head. Exactly what kind of want it without a switch, don't I? Kind of want it without using a switch. Or is it just I'll just go with that for the moment. See what happens. Can't remember how it works. So that's a required argument, and I don't want it to be required. So is it just like no. No, 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 no. I obviously can't remember how to do this. I literally just want to be able to say argument add, but also not do it. I realise I'm staring at the docs and you can't see what I'm staring at. But let me pull it over. Then it's not quite so unentertaining. I've mentioned that I'm really not a fan of the Python docs. I'm sure a lot of people put a lot of effort into them, but I just find them they're less reasonable. I kind of feel like I want it to be a positional argument. That would make sense, right? Oh, no, it's kind of looking for the command, isn't it? So I want to... Oh. Should I just make it... like something like that? Is it the nargs thing? I can never remember. I can never remember. As I say, it's one of those things I do like once in a blue moon. I get the code going and then never pay any attention again. Just nargs equals one argument will be consumed from the command line if possible and produce. Oh, maybe it's that. Something like that. Didn't crash. Right, let's have a look. Hang on, I want to go... Cool. Can I say it's a choice? Oh, I can. Right, this looks maybe promising. Maybe promising, so in which case I need to Something like that. No, not something like that. Can't remember. I can't remember how it works. Oh, I set default though, didn't I? I set a default. Yay, that was it. That's what I wanted. So if I just run Tinboard on its own, we go straight into the UI. If I say I want to add, it's just going to go into the inline add. Probably not the tidiest way of doing things. I'll dive into the correct way of doing the command line argument afterwards, but that's kind of roughly it. That's kind of roughly it. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that. This is one of those things that I will tinker with a little bit more before I decide that I'm actually going to have it as part of the application itself. But I feel that's actually a nice little proof of concept of the kinds of things you can do with the inline mode. Yeah, as I say, that nicely illustrates the idea. You know, you just run up the application itself, you're in there, you've got all your bookmarks and all that kind of stuff. We'll delete that one because that's a test from earlier, and there we go, we're good. And I can go in and view them and all that kind of stuff. But if I want to quickly add one, then yeah, there's the input dialog, and I can just exit out of that kind of thing, or I can type in all the details. One thing I haven't tried yet is it's doing tags. I need to check, but I think there may be an issue with yeah, it won't have access. You won't have access to the tags that exist amongst my bookmarks. I'm trying to remember how I did that. How did I do that? Known tags. Oh, yes, known tags. Yeah, so this is a shortcoming again with the approach I've taken, because I, when it comes to, if I actually run it up properly, if I go to add a new bookmark, do that. So having entered the bookmark, after a moment or two, the suggester, which will be used for this input here, which is the tags, builds a set of suggestions based on given the URL, the recommended tags that have come back from Pinboard, and also the popular tags for that URL on Pinboard, and it mixes them with all of the tags I've used amongst my own bookmarks. So, you know, I can, I've got bioinformatics in there, for example. So I can, it will suggest, it will complete bioinformatics because that's one of my tags. But I have to have loaded all of the bookmarks to know what the set of my tags is, which I'm not doing when where is it? Yeah, so like here, for example, you can see I pass in the known tags that are collected as all of the tags from the bookmarks widget, which knows about all the bookmarks. When I do this here, where's it gone? There. I don't have access to all my bookmarks. So all you're ever going to get is the suggestions from Pinboard itself. So it still kind of works, but it's not ideal, which further lends credence to the idea that I should probably refactor the bookmarks widget so it isn't actually holding onto the data and stuff like that. There should be a separate data structure that holds all the bookmarks that maybe the bookmarks widget has access to, but it should exist out with of that widget. So yeah, I should do that because it means there's a problem there, or rather, I lack some extra functionality that I actually is important to me as a thing that exists in this application. That you know, it always knows about all of your tags and will suggest them and stuff like that. But as a compromise, that's not bad at the moment. I'm not gonna, as I say, I'm not gonna get deeply into redoing that now. Some things, like something like that, I need to really think about, and actually doing that while talking and broadcasting and things like that isn't that great a thing to do. Sometimes I just want to think very quietly and not be waffling on about what I'm doing. But as a proof of concept, and as a proof of how well inline works, it's not shabby. It's not shabby at all. And of course, this could actually be extended, because at the moment all I've done is I've just added basically a binary command, which is add the bookmark. It could make sense to accept some extra parameters, which would be the tags and stuff like that and everything. So it will run that up and pre-populate. So yeah, pre-populate with a title, pre-populate with a description. It also raises the question of maybe if you're in inline mode, it should say the read later to true and the private to true. It would make sense that if I'm adding something on the fly, if I'm adding something, because this is how I tend to use Pinboard, is I... like on my phone, for example, or on my iPad, which I'm pointing at but you can't see. I have an app, Pistachio it's called, which is an iOS app that's a client for Pinboard. And if I see something that I think is worth saving or worth actually just having a proper read later, I'll save it to Pistachio, which then syncs up to the Pinboard server. And I've got it set so it does them by default private read later. And then every day or so, I'll run up Pinboard and filter on, show me all the stuff that is read later. And I'll go through and edit them and either read them, or even if sometimes I will have read them, but I want to save them and bookmark them properly and tag them properly and things like that. So I'll go through every day or two and just do a little bit of admin on the things I've saved. I save all kinds of stuff in Pinboard. And I do find it useful. For me, it's not so much a bookmarking service as it's a kind of outsourced memory of information I want to pull back and use later and everything. It works side by side with note-taking apps that I do and journaling apps and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that works. I think that's actually a good idea. And this nicely shows off. Because, of course, what I could have done with this is I could have still added this add command, which would have run up the application and then would have run up the bookmark input dialog, which, we're looking at here. And you could have input the stuff, and then when you saved, it closed down the application. And that was essentially the first incarnation of what I did here, even though it was in inline mode. And you could see that there was all you got the app showed, and there was a bit of a flash of this and that and the other, and then the dialogue showed, and then the whole thing has to close down again. And it doesn't feel fast. It almost feels like it's just doing a couple of extra keystrokes for you. And it's not a great experience. So this more or less does the same thing, but it's bypassing the main application screen. It's going straight into this. And it feels more immediate because it's there, visible in line. I like it. I think it's a handy, useful little way of doing things. And I'm gonna move forward with this. I think I'll do some tidying up. But as a way of quickly adding a bookmark from the command line, especially as I've shown before, if if you have it in your clipboard, and because I'm using Paperclip to check if there's something in the clipboard that looks like it's a URL, it pre-populates and stuff like that. And you can see, because it's pre-populated with a URL, it's already had time to go off and ask the Pinboard server what are the recommended and popular tags for this. So it's already showing you how you may want to tag it, which means by the time you get down here, it's already going to suggest things. Don't see why Django makes sense for this, but never mind. Yeah, I like it. I think that's useful. I don't know what that escape sequence thing was a wee while back when I was doing this. Might have to dive into that a little bit more. But yeah, I'm kind of repeating myself now, but it feels like it's a good illustration of how inline can be useful. Because it's a nice compromise, I think, over... I could have done something like this with Pinboard where it would have been a big command line thing. So it would have literally been Pinboard, add this URL, this title. Description's going to be a hard thing to do because it's ideally multi-line, plus some tags, and it would have just added, and it would have been purely CLI. This bridges the gap between purely CLI and a full screen app, in that you've still got your context, you're still there in your terminal, you can still interact with things, the mouse still works as well, which is kind of nice. But you, depending on how you've actually coded your screen, obviously, as long as you've made it keyboard friendly, you can go through, do that stuff, and then carry on. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Trying to think if there's any other applications I've written where it would make sense to do that. I suppose my Hacker News client, there could be a mode where it just kind of loads up and dumps the first handful of maybe the first 20 stories in top and then close down, that kind of thing, leaving it behind. Maybe not. Would I want to view Hacker News stories inline? I don't know that actually adds much. actually caught an error. It's struggling to read from the API. It's a common thing with Hack and Use. Well, with the API that they use. Trying to think if there's any other apps that I've got where it would make sense. I'm sure there is. It'll come to me. But there's no sense in forcing it. Right. Well, I think that's me done. That was actually pretty good. That actually went a lot smoother than I expected. I think initially I was assuming that I would try doing this and it wouldn't work very well at all. Wasn't quite sure how I was going to do use the fact that it was a modal screen. And given the app will be kicking around and all that kind of stuff. There's also an outstanding bug with, that's something I haven't done. I need to disable, actually, let's just go back and try that a second. I've lost my mouse. There's my mouse. Where's my mouse? There we go. There is the issue of, oh no, I wanted to do that. If I can try and pull up there, if I try and pull up the command palette, it all gets a bit wonky. That's not a great experience. So there's definitely, I don't know what that is. Not sure what that is, but there's something about the command palette. It could be as simple as just something to do with the styling or whatever, but it makes sense that if inline mode is being used, the command palette should be disabled. So what I should do is in my app, I need to remember to do something to disable the command palette. That's actually an issue. That's actually, yeah. It's not the app. Where do I declare my commands? Oh, it should be on the app, shouldn't it? Forgotten where I've declared my commands. Oh, it is on the main screen. Right. So actually my commands won't be part of the command palette anyway. But the problem is that there isn't really a way of dynamically turning off the command palette. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that is either on or off. You disable the command palette with, class. Which isn't as tidy as it could be. I kind of still feel like that should be something that is settable at runtime, personally. I can kind of fudge it. But yeah, the command palette is popping up because there are still commands. I just thought, can't remember if that is app wide or if you can do it on a screen. Like, can you disable it at the app level and then enable it for a screen? Yeah, basically I want the command palette disabled. It's not useful at all. I suppose unless you want to change light mode and dark mode in inline mode, because the command palette, it's got lots of. I've actually leaned into the command palette quite heavily with Timboard, where you've got lots of commands for tagged stuff and things like that, so you can search for a particular thing, and you can say, show me everything that's tagged Django, show me all that kind of stuff. But also you've got the built-in textual commands as well for like toggling light and dark mode and all that kind of stuff. I suppose you could want to, because if I do that, I can still pull that up. And you can see how it's a restricted set of commands that are available now. The completion is just giving the main ones. So, you can do that kind of thing. So it's only trying to show those three anyway. Curious now. Curious. In the command palette, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure that is only on the app. Yeah, I thought so. It is only something that's checked on the app. So it's not like I can disable it on a given screen. You know what though? Is that going to work? No. Didn't think it was going to work. It's worth a go. Oh, no, it's not going to work. Blast. Hey, okay, that'll work as a, yeah, that'll work. That will work. That's good. There we go. No command palette nonsense now. it does kind of raise the question that maybe oh, there is a runtime flag. But yeah, it may be that should actually be something that's set to false if let me just try that. The hilarious thing is I wrote that bit of code and I don't remember. No, that doesn't do it. There's something else going on there, isn't there? That should work. Maybe is inline isn't known at that point. That would be weird. Ah, that feels like a bug. That feels like a bug. So actually, what this boils down to is I can just do this. But yeah, it's weird that is in line after app initialization, because it's fair that it may, if I was to put the code there, that's fair because we haven't done the super init call yet, but I would have thought that afterwards I would know that I'm in line. I think when I'm finished here, I may just quickly do an MRE of that, and that feels like something that should have an issue. So yeah, I'll do that. Maybe I'm missing something obvious here, but that looks like a bug. So there we go. We have command palette is working. And then if I do that, no command palette. Okay, there we go. Cool. Right, let's try that again. Because I was going to finish. That was going to be the finish, and then I didn't finish. And I'm still not going to finish because, like, I'm going to finish this, and then I will go and actually do the MRE. I suppose I could do it while I'm here, but, like, who wants to watch that, right? Then raise the issue and stuff like that. So, seems like there is at least one person out there watching. Whoever you are, hi. I hope your Friday's going well. And had a wee number of 3-4 people drop by. A couple of people have said hello, that kind of thing. Probably not a great time to actually bump into people, but then I don't really do this necessarily bump into people. I do this because it's kind of fun, and there ends up being a recording, and maybe someone will watch it and that might find it useful in some way, shape or form. Don't know. Meanwhile, I probably will be streaming again a wee bit later this evening, but it won't be on this channel. It'll be over on my other one. If you look at the profile for this channel down at the bottom, you'll see it links to me buggering around gaming and things. Having early on this year streamed playing all the way through Cyberpunk 2077, I then did a replay of Death Stranding, but this time the director's cut. One of my all-time favourite games. And then, because what prompted me to play that was the fact that we're going to get Death Stranding 2 next year, hopefully next year. And in a similar vein, given that we're allegedly going to get GTA 6 next year, I don't hold out much hope. Off on a tangent, I'm obviously looking at lots and lots and lots of job adverts at the moment and things like that, given that Textual Eyes laid me and Rodrigo off. I have been seeing quite a few job adverts at Rockstar North, which are just up the road from me in Edinburgh itself. And there's lots of jobs being advertised that are so obviously come and work on GTA 6. And so, some of them I'm looking at going, if you're going to release next year, I think that vehicle AI would be a thing that you would have solved by now. Surely that's a solved problem. I mean, there's some hilarious stuff goes on in GTA 5, obviously, but you'd think they solved it for GTA 4, let alone GTA 5. So the idea that they maybe want to tweak it a little bit for GTA 6, and yet they need to hire someone to do that job, as one example I saw, sort of makes me think that maybe it won't quite get out in time next year. Who knows? But anyway, in that vein, because we're supposedly expecting GTA 6 next year, I've cracked and I'm doing another playthrough of the main story of GTA 5 at the moment on my PS5, because I just couldn't resist. And I've played the story through a few times. I think this might be my 4th or maybe 5th playthrough. I did it originally on an Xbox 360, then did it again when the PC version came out, did it again on PS4. I think I started doing it when I got an Xbox S, because I couldn't get hold of a PS5 for yonk, so I gave up and bought a Xbox Series S and played on that for a while, so I got GTA 5 on that. I don't think I played all this, so this is probably going to be my 4th time playing the story all the way through. Definitely a game I really love. It's lots of fun to play it and everything. So yeah, as I was saying, I will be back streaming later this evening probably, but it'll be me swearing and cursing and doing very horrific crimes and terribly adult things. And it's all good, clean fun. So, if you are out there watching and listening to me waffle on about something that's got nothing to do with coding, I should say, thanks for dropping by. And if anyone happens to watch this recording at some point in the future, thanks for watching that as well. And I'll see you on again. Try again. I should practice actually talking out loud, shouldn't I? I shall see you all again at some point in the future.